Whoa, hey everybody, welcome to the Showboys podcast. I'm Pixel Nick, and joining me tonight is Chadwick the Third. Chad, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty okay. I just realized I need to
Pretty
turn
okay.
this light down a little bit. It's like beaming off my dome.
Pretty okay. That's
There we
like
go. Pretty okay.
quite the way to put it.
Pretty all right. Pretty darn good. Yeah. All is well. Doing a little what's watching tonight. Tonight we'll be covering Ninja Scroll from 1993, the movie, not to be confused with the series from 2003 around. Chad picked this out. Chad, why'd you pick this out?
So we had this on the list, if you remember, quite maybe like years ago. We built a list of topics that I would like to get to at some point, and on that list was like to do a classic anime run where we look at Ninja Scroll, specifically what we're going to talk about tonight, and Akira, Ghost in the Shell, the kind of classic 90s, 80s anime films. And this one, for my money, is the best out of the three. And I know that is wildly unaccepted amongst anime people.
Really?
Like, this is,
okay.
If this one even makes the list, it's the third one. But I do think that it is widely considered as like one of the absolute most important pieces of anime to come out of Japan, as far as sending it out to a Western audience. Like, this is kind of, it's always been Ghost in the Shell, Akira, Ninja Scroll. Those are the three heavy hitters that kind of introduced anime to the West. So that's why I wanted to pick this one. And it's just, I hold this film like very near and dear to my heart. Like, I saw this at way too young of an age. If you, you've watched it now, so
yeah.
So, it's just it's been on the list, and we didn't have anything go on, so I was like, let's hit Ninja Scroll up. It's a quick like hour and 34 minutes or hour and 30 something minutes.
Currently on Prime, it's through High Dive, which is a premium subscription on there. I think it's like $8 a month, but right now it's not a free trial. It is 99 cents for 2 months, or 99 cents for the first 2 months, right? So $2, and then it goes up to like the $8. So not too bad. I'll have to remember to cancel it. But little anime service. But yeah, pretty easy to tap into. You don't have to like do anything extra. I never subscribed to any of those Prime subscriptions, but you just click it. I don't know how you cancel it, but I was worried it would take me to like some High Dive site, and I got to sign up, and I got to log in and create an account. And I was like, and enter my credit card. I was glad it was just like one click, and you're live.
Yeah, it's. I think that. I think you just go into the settings on Amazon, and it's like under subscriptions, all the stuff on there. Yeah, they make it super easy on there, which is cool. But the cool thing about this is, when I put this on the list, which I literally think was maybe years ago, this film was like very difficult to get your hands on, extremely difficult to get your hands on. You would have to search the dark corners of the web to find like a VHS rip of this movie. Not good. So anytime that I wanted to watch it, which is, I'll be honest, fairly frequently, I find myself wanting to watch this. Just a chill movie. I don't know if chill is the word I want to put.
Chill.
But it's like a chill movie to fall asleep to.
It's like saying,
but you couldn't find it.
A chill show to like relax to.
Yeah. It's so for the longest time, you could find a really crappy version of it visually with an English dub, or a really solid visual quality version of it with like a German dub. Okay. So still got subtitles, but it's just throws the vibe off, because you're watching like feudal Japanese samurai thing, and it's like speaking in German. Yeah, so it totally throws the whole thing off. But
that would throw it off.
I think last year they re-released it for like its 30th anniversary or whatever it was, a couple years ago maybe.
That must be what it is.
So now you can actually buy it.
Yeah, and it looks great. Yeah, you can buy it through Amazon, which I almost thought about. Maybe I will in the future. I don't know. It's only $15 to buy. It's obviously it's Square, but it's high definition.
Yeah, it's that 4:3, 4:3, but it's at least in good. So it makes me excited because this is the best. The one that I bought on Apple TV is the best quality version that I've ever watched. So, but enough of me talking about it. I want to hear just like your initial thoughts before we dive in here. This is your first time watching this, correct?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I honestly thought it was a game at first. I think I even sent like a Steam link to something called
You
Ninja
did,
Scrolls.
yeah.
Because I mean, to me, it sounds like a side scroller ninja game. That's exactly what I thought it was. But no, yeah, I mean, it has that. Honestly, I mean, instantly, the first thing I was just appreciating is like that '90s animation style. It's just like peak '90s, like nostalgic. I mean, it looks good. It's not just nostalgia; like it looks good, right? It's so hard for animators to stay away from like CGI type stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the easiest way to make stuff these days, but like you just can't touch that like hand drawn animation that this is. I assume it is. I mean, it looks great.
Yep.
So that's like the one thing, and then like the way I don't know the way the sounds really good in it, like lots of just little sounds and like big sounds, and the way that just goes together with the animation style is just great. Um, but outside of that, it like I would say the first 30 minutes are just like crammed full of just shock value stuff that like just really gets it going. You're like, man, what am I getting into here? And then I really feel like it calms down quite a bit, and then it kind of like gets the story and like plays out. There's still like really wild stuff that happens, but that first 30 minutes is really, really shocking if you have no idea what's going on.
Oh yeah.
And definitely like parental advisory, like viewer discretion advised, because it jumps right into some wild stuff right off the jump. And
granted,
so is there like another movie, like the way it ends, and then I totally see how it's just like that's the way it's designed, and like there's even context of like the characters have a history before the movie, like all that stuff.
There's not. It just kind of drops you right smack dab in the middle of this, and there's a series that is a sequel series to this. Okay, but I've tried to watch it. The animation quality is kind of meh, so I've never got around to actually fully watching it. There was a second movie that was planned, and you can actually go find like a trailer, like a fully animated trailer that they made for the second movie that never got off the ground. But there's been multiple other. I think Leonardo DiCaprio's like production company was trying to get a live action one off the ground for like many, many, many years, and that kind of fell through as well. So this is it. And honestly, if you look at it, it's a pretty good self-contained story. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like you get that there's a little bit of history between Junpei and the main antagonist of the game.
Gemma.
But at the end it kind of ends and that's it. And you can go on and continue and watch the series or but I've tried so many times because I want to so bad because I just love the character. I
was looking at the episodes of the series just now because I was trying to figure out, I'm like, is this related? Is it just this movie like redone as a series? So it's good to know that it's like a sequel series. But I just from like even the thumbnails on the episodes, like you can tell it's just like a 10 years newer animation. It's just like too bright because like the whole thing about the way not just Ninja Scroll, but even like if you look at the old Gundams and all of that, like the brightness isn't there because I don't know if it's because they're relying on like hand drawn stuff, but also like it's a trick to like not show as much detail, right? But like because they're using more modern animation stuff, it's like, oh, we can add detail to everything, but to see the detail, they like bump up the brightness. So it's like, well, that kind of really takes away from the moments where the ninjas are like jumping through the roofs and all you see is the silhouettes. Like just go with that.
I think that as far as like the animation quality, I think you even see that kind of in video games too, where like video games today are like just so in your face bright. If you look at like Horizon, it's still a beautiful game, but it is like over the top in your face super bright in every corner. Ghost of Tsushima, another prime example. Everything's beautiful. Everything is super bright. But yeah, I don't know if that's just a difference between the 90s style of these artists that were making this stuff and today, or if, like you said, maybe it is they can put more detail in it and everything just gets naturally brighter from that point. But I do want to go back to kind of your shock value comment that you had, because this is one thing that even I don't know if it's like I saw this film very early, like maybe 11 years old or 12 years old, maybe.
Nice.
And it was a buddy had rented it, and we were all super into ninjas at the time, as I think a lot of people were in the 90s. That was just like, that's what sold, 90s ninja stuff was like all over the place, whether it's American Ninja movies or whatever, that stuff just sold. So we picked this up at like whatever Video Safari or whatever it was back in the day. And yeah, man, I mean, it was like kind of like utterly shocked watching this movie, because it is, while it is a ninja movie, it is through and through like 18 plus ninja movie. You know what I mean? Like there's some stuff in here that I definitely probably shouldn't have saw at 12 years old, but
no, definitely not. Yeah, but I do like. I mean, it isn't in there for no reason, because at least like her character, like
it's important to her character. Yeah,
fairly quickly they explain that away, and it explains why she just kind of like lets it happen, because dudes die. By, committing the act with her.
Right.
But like that dude, like also that character, like he is just like grotesque. Like he is just like on another level of like. I mean, he's a demon, which I think is cool that there's like these demons that are, was it not League of Demons, but what are they kind of called their group? The seven.
It's the seven devils of Kimon.
Yeah. So I thought that was wild, and like obviously watching it, and like I'm not as like versed in like the samurai, like ninja, like lore, but like I'm learning a lot more, especially like through you and the things you recommend. But like, what's the game I'm supposed to beat? I'm never gonna beat.
They took Shadows.
No.
Oh, that you took from me, Sekiro.
Yeah. The Sekiro like ideas where they have like the old guy, like he's kind of like a tree, like he's got those like powers that these ninja have. And I always think that's cool, as I kind of like observe more of that throughout like different media.
Yeah. So I think that when you look at this movie, you can see a lot of influence specifically in video games, moving past this movie, because if you look at like something like Metal Gear Solid, okay, the first Metal Gear Solid has a array of bad guys with all different abilities. It feels very Ninja Scroll, but at the same time, it's weird because Ninja Scroll kind of fits like somewhere in the middle there, because in the 80s we had Mega Man games that had 8 different bosses that you had to kill. They all have different powers, so that kind of came first, and then Ninja Scroll kind of sits smack dab in the middle. So I'm curious of what came first, like what influenced what. Like, was Ninja Scroll influenced by the video games of the time, or were the video games after Ninja Scroll influenced by that? And I know that Kojima, who did Metal Gear, is pretty open, I think, about his influence, but I've never read about it. I'd be curious to see if he was influenced by Ninja Scroll at all, because it feels so Kojima. Like all his games have a set of cast bad guys with all different powers. Even some of the same powers that are in this movie, like the dude that commands the Hornets, that's like a bad guy in Metal Gear Solid 3. So
in Sekiro, what are those called? Like, what are they called? Like what he is.
What like
when they start having like powers and stuff, and you're not like necessarily human anymore.
I don't know what they're called in Sekiro.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's like part of the lore. But that's like, it reminds me of, because like even the old guy, but like the old guy also has the like the power pole from Dragon Ball Z, or just Dragon Ball. He has Goku's power pole there at the end, where he's like going across the roofs, and it gets longer than shorter.
Yeah.
That's like another good question. It's like, where does the idea of the power pole come from?
Yeah. I don't know. I know that. So this movie, I believe, was influenced by a novel, but I believe it's not obviously highly animated and animated, if you will. But it was influenced by a novel about the Kogan Ninja, and that's kind of the females part of the Kogan Ninja in the beginning of the movie here. And you kind of get to see them initially get all slaughtered in the woods when they go to the town to see what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. It's like as far as the Tessai is the guy you were talking about that is like grotesque.
Yeah.
I think the reason that this film is always
Shinobi
in
that's
talks,
what I was thinking of.
Shinobi. Yeah.
Like, Shinobi.
In talks of the best anime films for bringing anime to the West is because of the level of violence and adult themes in this. Because if you think back to 1993 and the cartoons that we were watching, it was the cartoons here were all for kids. That's all it was. Nothing. There were no adult cartoons back then. So then this Akira, Ghost in the Shell come to America, usually through funnels of like underground anime conferences and stuff at the time. And then eventually made its way to like, Blockbuster and Video Safari and the places. But I think it's important in that sense is that it showed the Western audience like, hey, Japan's been making animated movies for adults for years. And it turns out they're pretty awesome. So, and you can kind of show some super adult themes and show them in a more grotesque way that you wouldn't get in a live action. You're never going to get somebody built like Tessai in a live action and watch him go through that scene that he has in that abandoned shack. But
yeah, I think, I mean, part of like the animation of it that, I think that helps, right? Because I mean, there's obviously cultural differences. Not that like it's acceptable in any culture, but like it is like, Japanese culture is very unique, in sense of like, especially their feudalistic point in time, and just like, how people are treated and viewed. But it's like the animation, like you obviously couldn't do a live action version of that exactly to that degree, I think, without completely distracting from the point of the story for that character, right? Like it kind of has a payoff in the end, but luckily you get to do it through animation. You don't have to like do it a live action, which really is a different level of like disturbing that just really alters the tone of a lot of things.
And anytime that I've ever like sat somebody down to watch this movie with me, and then there's been multiple people, they're always like shocked by that initial scene in that abandoned thing, and I'm like, just sit through it because it does add to her character. Like it's an important scene for her character, because honestly, I don't know that Jubei would have ever beat Tessai if that hadn't happened in there, because Tessai is pretty much whooping his ass in every capacity that they meet each other. So it's an important part of her character, and it plays on throughout the rest of the movie as well. And it's a cool, I don't know, it's a cool like special power for a woman to have. Like that's just something that you don't think of.
Yeah, and they totally show the moment where like his skin is like starting to break and stuff, but like it's eclipsed because Yubei like attacks him, and like their fight continues. So you kind of forget like the exact what is going on there until later when like she explains it. She's like, "You think you killed him? Like he died for a completely different reason. He just did it while you were fighting him." And then you think back, you're like, "Oh yeah, duh." Like, because I remember seeing that, I'm like, "What's going on?" Like he's just like breaking down, and then you kind of forget about it because Yubei defeats him. But then they reveal later, it's like, well, no, he died because of the poison.
Yeah, and it's funny too. This movie did not do well in Japan, which I find very. So I think I have a reason for it, but I do still find it very bizarre because it feels so distinctly Japanese. You know what I mean? Like this is. But if you think about like if you think about even where we were in the 90s and you say, was anybody playing with cowboy stuff? No, dude, we were playing with robots and, the cool stuff that was coming out. Almost the Toy Story story. That's what was actually happening in reality. Like, nobody wanted to play with cowboy stuff anymore. And I think that's maybe the same vibe that was going on in Japan, where they've just seen the samurai stuff for so long. That's their cowboy, if you will. But now, with Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Gundam, all this cool big robots and cyberpunk themes, like, nobody was really drawn to Ninja Scroll. Now, that being said, I know that it's changed since then, and it is held in high regard. But I think it was just plopped down in a time where nobody was really paying attention to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer. But the director, I think, went on to I think who are the people that made The Matrix? I'm blanking on their names. Wachowskis.
The Wachowski brothers.
Something like that. Wachowskis, something like that. They have named Ninja Scroll as an influence for The Matrix. I know that the director of The Matrix, or the director of Ninja Scroll, went on and did some animated segments in that anthology, The Animatrix. It's like an anthology series. So he does either one or two segments in that as well, as far as the animation goes.
I just watched The Matrix, just rewatched The Matrix in the past week.
Oh, did you really? What are the odds? Yeah. Yeah.
I have the Blu-rays of them.
Oh, do you? Yeah. So
you can't stream them anywhere now. They come and go, but because I think they were part of the group of things that Max sold off or removed from their streaming service for a bit. But they didn't go anywhere, so I think they just removed them to create some probably some demand for buying it, especially because the fourth one came out the last few years. But yeah, I rewatched The Matrix, and it's just so good. But yeah,
it is great, and that was the Matrix. Not to get on a total side tangent here, but The Matrix was my first DVD experience in the day. And not only my first DVD experience, but also my first surround sound with DVD experience back in 2000, whatever, early 2000s. My neighbor across the street took me over to his buddy's house, and they lived in a freaking mansion. And he had a legit theater in his basement, and he's like, dude, you got to check this DVD out, man. This is when they're brand new. Everybody has VHSs except for the rich people in the mansions.
and before they put advertisements on the DVDs, before the movies, right? Because I remember that being a big thing. Because me and my brother-in-law, because we hopped on the DVD train pretty early too, just because they were awesome, and we're and then when they started adding previews to them, we're like, oh, what happened? And now when you go back and watch them, you're like, oh yeah, and I don't know why. Maybe because it's the cut of the movie, maybe. But my Blu-ray of The Matrix, no ads and no menu either. It goes right into the movie.
Yeah, that does seem. I think is that I don't know if the Blu-ray, dude. It's been so long since I played a Blu-ray. Do Blu-rays have menus, or do they go right into the movie?
No, some do. Just like DVDs, some do, some don't. So, because we were watching at my wife's parents, they have some of the the first 3 Harry Potters on DVD, and those, right? That's 2001, 2002, 2003. They have menus, and they have these weird games, and on the bonus disc CD and stuff like that. So. There was that technology, but not everyone committed to it because it was kind of gimmicky and there's a lot of extra stuff. Or sometimes you just want to play the movie. Some did, some didn't. But I was surprised the Blu-ray that they didn't add any of that. It just goes right into the movie, and I'm fine with that. Place.
Yeah, I mean, back in the early 2000s, coming right out of VHS and watching The Matrix in surround sound on DVD, dude, it was a whole different world. You felt like you were in the room during the shootouts, because bullets are whizzing past your head. Everything's crystal clear. But for the menu thing, people don't understand that when you were watching a VHS back in the day and you wanted to find a specific scene, you had to fast forward and rewind and try to find it.
Yeah.
DVD comes out and allows you to pick a chapter and just put you right. You could go through the chapter to be like, dude, you got to watch this scene. Let me go to chapter 13 versus let me rewind this and fast forward this 5 times to get right where I want to be.
Yeah, and that's where they introduced the there's like, obviously we always had the fast forward buttons, but they have the fast forward with the stops, which are the chapter skips, right? So that was a nice improvement too, where you have the chapter skips if you don't have a menu to pick from. But
yeah, definitely. So speaking of VHS, so this movie I got on VHS, Ninja Scroll, back in the day, and back in the day it was not the cover of it was not translated in English. So we spent a little time digging around, trying to find, my buddy had like some magazines that had the stuff in there. He also, him and his dad at the time were like super into Japanese stuff. So he had like some translation books like that we were trying to like translate it through. Cause the internet did exist, but it wasn't like you couldn't go to Google, you couldn't go to Google and look it up. But we ended up, and I think that it's called, the actual name of the movie in Japan is Junbei Ninja Chronicles. We came up with Jubei Win Ninja Chronicles, which makes sense. Also, that might have been what was on the cover back in the day, because he does use kind of like wind attacks. He kind of flings his sword and shoots out.
Has some sort of like wind slice action going on.
But it's, this is like just a little pocket of like when anime was kind of almost underground, like you went to Blockbuster and they had like one anime movie and it's not translated, so you're just going to have to stick through it. And my buddy at the time, his dad was super into this stuff. So they had a ton of like Japanese magazines that were all in Japanese. They had like bootlegged copies of episodes from Japan and stuff. So it was super cool. But this one is the one that kind of stuck out to me. And I don't know if it stuck out to me because it was just like so shocking for a 12-year-old to go and watch through this. And it's funny that I bring that up because on vacation this year, I let Brady watch this with me and my cousin. However, I was like, you can watch this with us. Like Ryan needs to watch it because he's never seen it. You can watch it with us, but you are going to have to come over here, cover your eyes and ears for some parts, and then you can go back and, sit back in your chair. So we did that through most of the sex stuff, but I forgot one freaking scene, dude. The scene at the end, which is where she's tied up, which is arguably the worst scene to forget because of what that guy is doing to her when she's tied up. And yeah, he had like a little reaction to it. Like, what? Like, that was so weird. Like, what was he doing? And I was like, he was poisoning her. And he's like, oh, all right. I was like, okay, let's move on. Let's just forget that I forgot the most. Yeah, it works for now. Yeah. You'll eventually figure out what that is, but not today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, let's kind of go through. I want to kind of go through the bad guys, because I feel like this is kind of where this show or this movie kind of shines, is in its amazing cast of unique characters. Did you have any like favorites that stuck out to you as far as the bad guys go?
They're all like cool in different ways. Of course. I mean, the first like rock guy is just so like disgusting and like also overpowered. Like he's just really cool right off the jump. The bee like part, I like the way that all worked because like she was doing her like flower thing to like sedate the bees while he was like chasing them down. Different things like that. I mean, the electricity like wire dude, he's cool, but he's also just like a giant douche. But like he's
total
just like
douche.
Like he's just like a very overpowered douche because he's got like, he doesn't actually fight, he just like kind of trips you up and gets you like under his little wire and electrocutes you. The chick that ends up killing him though, I think she was really cool. I forget like the exact nature of her. Like she makes stuff explode with
Yeah, she
her,
makes like she makes like bombs that
but she's like
explode.
kind of like
Yeah.
animal like, and like
Yeah.
has a nature thing going about her.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is so the electricity guy is Yurimaru.
Mhm.
I like him. I think he's just a cool character. He is a total
Yeah,
douche, and he doesn't really do a whole lot. Besides, he's kind of like, yeah, he's just kind of a dick through the entirety of the movie. Like
yeah,
even to the female that you're talking about, who's like I think like in love with him, and he's like, I have no
yeah,
feelings for you. Like
yeah.
just beat it. But I also like on top of his like attacks with the wires, there's a part where he's talking to Genma
That's very cool
through the wire, like is like a feudal Japanese telephone, like the
because he's got
cup
the
on your
like,
ear thing.
yeah, I don't know if it was possessed or like a robot owl, but like it carried the string or the wire to where it needed to go, and then that's how he's
Yeah,
able to. And I'm like, that's interesting, and it like, and that's where
yeah,
like for the owl it had like the red eyes, and it moved a little bit robotic, and I'm like that's the also cool thing about not 90s, but like even like older anime, just like the way they could introduce like sci-fi elements, and that's why like it jumps over to like Gundam so easily and like
yeah,
Transformers because you can get like really cool sci-fi with animation much easier than real life stuff. But
yeah.
I like how um like Japanese anime like this is able to like have a lot of fun in terms of like feudal Japan, but also like sci-fi elements, but also like mythology elements. And that just seems like a really big like vortex in terms of like Japanese anime in turn like samurai ninja, but then like the bad guy, like the mythos of their lore has a lot of like intersections with sci-fi,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
different like
definitely.
powers they have, much different than our very like I wouldn't consider like our Western mythologies to be very sci-fi at all. Like they're very
No,
grounded in kind of like very ancient timesy um
yeah,
stuff, whereas like Japanese like mythology somehow has this really cool not like cyberpunk thing, but like they can just like toss like to me the wire thing, the electricity wire thing, like that's totally science fiction.
totally science fiction. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I don't know. That's always been something. If you think back to like any ninja thing that you've ever really watched in your
Yeah.
life, ninja magic has always been like a thing where they're like disappearing and throwing smoke bombs and reappearing, and they have different abilities and poisoning, and that's always been a thing. So it's always been like the draw for the ninja is that kind of sci-fi element where they're almost like a ghost that just pops out of nowhere.
Hmm.
um One of the more recent movies that if you want like a good, it's not a good like it's not a good movie per se. I think the movie's great. It's not well acted by some of the characters, but Ninja Assassin, and I think it's on something right now, it might be on Netflix or something, is a great like almost horror-esque look at like a modern day ninja where they're like popping out of the shadows. Just the way they make the ninja look in that movie, I love it. And I let Brady watch that and he's like, dude, that movie's freaking awesome. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's super cool. But yeah, it's always been in the mythos of at least the fictional ninja to have some sort of magical ability or science fiction ability to
Yeah.
them.
Their
And
toolkit, kind of like
it's
Batman,
yeah,
like
yeah,
very
absolutely.
sciencey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, yeah. But the when you look at like ninja in actual history, it was kind of like a shocking moment for me to find out that they weren't really that cool in reality. They were kind of seen as like cowards that fought in the
Yep.
dark, farmers that protected their land and did tricks. But I remember like all the ninja stuff that you watched in the 90s, like they're just whooping the shit out of samurai. You know what I mean? Like you see these
Yeah.
samurai and they're just getting forked over by these ninja, and you're like, I mean, samurai kind of suck, bro. Like, what's up with these guys? Like, these are supposed to be the knights of feudal Japan,
Yeah.
but that's actually in reality I'm not how it was. You know what I mean? Like the
Yeah.
samurai didn't suck. Obviously, they were
Yeah.
the honorable knights of that area. So the ninja, I think, in reality, in a fair, straight up fight, would get whomped on by the samurai.
Well,
So
yeah, the intersection of that, I mean, for them, I mean, yeah, there was the period of Japanese history where the samurai were the thing, right? You know, they had their code of honor, they had all their very intense gear, right? And they had their code and the way they fought and the way like society worked. But you know, at some point, and they even reference it in here, right? That we're at a point where you can go to like Spain and get a bunch of cool cannons and weapons, and like the samurai aren't that tough anymore when you have guns and other things. So like the ninja kind of represent this like adapting fighting force in Japanese
yeah,
culture where
yep,
later on like the samurai get the short end of the stick because they're not as cool because the ninja have adapted to fight them better, right? Like they're not
yeah,
going to stand and fight them in the field, they're just going to die, right? But instead they have gadgets and they use the shadows to like overcome their enemies.
yeah,
You know, not too different from like, you know, American Revolution. Like we used guerrilla
yeah,
tactics to beat the British. We weren't gonna
yeah,
stand up in a line and have a shootout. Like we're
yeah.
gonna jump you in the woods. We're trying to win
Yeah,
here.
there was like somewhere where in history where fighting in the shadows became the right thing to do. Like that's like the
Yeah,
strategy. Like even if
yeah.
you look at like our modern day wars, the
Oh
top
yeah,
tier 1 units are fighting in the shadows. They're not, you know, fighting out on a battlefield. They're going in the shadows. So it's cool to watch kind of how it adapted throughout. You know, you learn like in the 90s like ninjas are awesome, and then you learn like in the early 2000s like, oh, they weren't actually awesome in history. But now ninja tactics are like I love watching SEAL team stuff, like
yeah,
anything to do with the SEALs. And those are like modern day ninjas, dude. Like they're sneaking into
yeah.
your bedroom, killing you and sneaking back out. Like that's the modern day ninja. So there's something that's just always been I've always been drawn to the ninja side of things versus the samurai side of things. It really didn't change until Ghost of Tsushima came out, to be honest with you. Where I was like, being a samurai is kind of badass. Like, let's just walk in the front door and let them all come to me, and I'll just beat them all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just for if you grew up in the 90s, dude, like this stuff was everywhere. Where you had Storm Shadow and G.I. Joe, like ninjas were everywhere in the 90s. So it
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
GI Joe's like got
yeah,
actual ninjas in it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And Snake Eyes, Storm
Yeah,
Shadow, the Snake Eyes movie that came out is pretty sweet. Um, that's another good, like little ninja esque movie. But yeah, I don't know, dude. It's just, it's always, as you can tell, if you've been listening to us at all, I like Japanese stuff. That's just, you know, it's just been bred into me since I was a kid. I just was super drawn to this stuff. I'm still super drawn to it. But yeah, so the lady that you were talking about is Zakuro. She is the one that makes the bombs. And then we have a couple other ones, and I have to say the shadow guy,
oh, I forgot about him.
that kind
He's
of like
cool.
disappears down into the shot. You say he's lame?
No, I forgot about him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean,
He is.
it was cool how I liked him and the old guy when you first kind of see that dude come out of the shadows, and the old guy just becomes like the tree branch, and he's like, oh, he just straight up disappeared as he like
Yeah,
disappears into the shadow. I'm like, that's just
yeah,
like a funny line. I think it was
yeah.
obviously intentional.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I think you know, he's cool, but my favorite without a doubt, and this is another thing that I'm just like blindly drawn to, pun intended, I guess, is the blind swordsman. I'm not even going to
Yeah,
attempt his name. Majuro, maybe. If Brady was here,
sounds
he'd correct me and be like, "Dude, you're an idiot. It's this." But
Mahero.
yeah. So I like it for two reasons. There's an entire series of movies called Zatoichi about a blind swordsman. I just
Mm,
find it so like it's almost as cool as Ninja, because if you watch the movies, like he's blind, but he's totally badass. He just womps all over everybody. And I think that this fight aesthetically is one of the coolest as they're running through the bamboo forest like sideways, and he's like moving in and out of the bamboo so he doesn't hit the bamboo. And then the way he kind of defeats him with the sound and everything, I just I don't know, something about the blind swordman, it's just cool to me.
I mean, they have it in Rogue One, right?
Yeah.
Yuri,
Prime
I think
example.
his name's like Yuri or something. But yeah, like the blind like force user, right, where you use all your other senses to kind of to fight. Because their argument is your eyes are, they're deceiving you, they are distracting you. If you use all your other senses combined, like you don't really need to see. You see too much with your eyes.
I wonder if that blind guy had some influence from Zatoichi. It had to have, now that I think about it, because that series of movies, and there's a lot of them, might be the only thing I think of that has like a blind swordsman in it. So it had to be probably influence. I forgot about him. And Donnie Yen's awesome, dude.
Oh yeah.
Any movie that I've ever seen, it like, have you seen the John Wick movies?
Yeah. Well, the first 3. I haven't seen
the first 3. Okay, so you haven't seen 4. Oh, dude, you gotta go watch 4. Yeah. Okay, you gotta go watch 4 for sure. You would love, dude, you'd be all over 4, I think. And they go to Japan in it, which is sick. But yeah, any movie I ever seen him in, Ip Man, any of those movies, like he's badass, dude. Like he's like our modern day Bruce Lee, you know?
Yeah.
Beni Sato is the snake lady.
Oh yeah, she was cool.
Kind of, she kind of shows up for, I think, like a couple fights.
But a couple, I feel like it was just one fight. She was there for like maybe 3 scenes, like 3 encounters, but like she only really like fights once, and he kind of like mops. He doesn't like, she kind of dies easily.
That's what I was gonna say. She kind of total pushover.
Yeah, because what's her name? The female ninja. She was holding her to get the snakes off of him, right? And then that's where he got bit by her other snake.
And she gets bit by that other snake as well, but it doesn't affect her because poison, So what we were kind of hinting at is, so Kagero is the female ninja, and her ability at the beginning of the movie, we see that. I mean, we can go through the story because we kind of went through most of the characters, if not all of them. Genma's the only one that hasn't quite come up yet, but he doesn't come up till the end of the movie. We start out with what I think is just like an awesome scene on this bridge, like a great way to open it, where Jubei's walking with his little rice ball, and the storm, everything about it, the storm rolling in behind him. He kind of gets ambushed by this group of, I don't know what you want to call them, pirates or ninja or whatever you want to call them. And I this kind of sets the mood for Jubei's character, as he's like not here for the money. He's trying to do the right thing. He's just trying to survive. He gets attacked because he took a job to get a sword back that was missing or taken. And he only did it for like 20 something pieces of gold. And this other group wanted like 200 pieces of gold. And he's like, you guys are idiots. Like, they're a small clan. They don't have 200 pieces of gold. So you're the idiots. But that whole fight scene is so cool. He, tosses the rice ball up in the air, kills everybody, and then catches the rice ball. Yeah. It's such a classic shot.
Well, I like the tempo change though too, because he's like going very slowly in this rice ball, but then like once he catches it and is like, "Oh, there's a storm, I need to hurry," and then he like starts running, and then
that music, dude, the score that kicks in there is so epic. Yeah,
I think it wouldn't have been the same if he just kept walking slowly out of that scene. Like the fact that he's like, "Oh, I gotta hurry, I gotta go," and he starts running, and then that music starts. I was like, okay, I see, we're picking up here already. That was a good intro for sure. And that's also like you said, the storm and like the rain. It's the practicality of where was it? Oh, when it's like raining and the ninja group that gets wiped out very early on that she was part of. the way the rain element, like you can tell it's just the same like animation over the whole screen, right? Regardless of
Yeah.
like what's happening, animation behind it. And I don't know, like it's just like a cool effect. It's like practical, right, for how they
Yeah.
animated these things. But like that's part of the aesthetic. It's just like cool because it just sets the tone. I don't know. Same thing
Yeah.
with the darkness. Like I don't know why it works, but it works and it's cool. Like it's almost like seeing practical effects in like a movie or a show when they're like actually on set, like on
Yeah.
location. It's the same idea. It's like somehow the practicalness of the animation style just makes it better instead of,
Yeah. I
you know,
agree.
we always talk
Yeah.
about the volume, like the giant circle stage they use these days, like that versus like just being literally in the desert.
Right. Right.
It's just way different.
It is. It is definitely. Yeah. There's definitely. I don't know if it's nostalgia or what, but like there are times where now don't get me wrong, like some modern day and Demon Slayer has phenomenal animation,
Oh yeah,
absolutely top notch, phenomenal
yeah,
animation, but it's different than the stuff we grew up with in the 90s where it had that like
it's brighter.
hand drawn feel. Yeah, it has like a hand drawn feel to it. And you can tell that like people put like blood, sweat, and tears. Not that they don't on Demon Slayer, I'm sure they do. But it just yeah, it's just a different feel. I don't know if it's nostalgia, but anytime I see a 90s anime, specifically films, because I feel like some of the 90s anime series are like almost offensively 90s, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it might be kind
that's when they're
of
like the series though are different because it's like because back then they had to be more budget friendly because they're making a series on a movie and it's obviously a lot more work to like animate out a series, right? So you kind of have to take shortcuts, and those shortcuts become almost like quality hits on it, where it's like this is like one nice contained package. They knew they had to do an hour and a half of animation, and they stuck to what they did. Whereas when you start doing longer form content back in the day, that's where it falls apart. The same thing when you talk about I don't know, if like you're to make a Lord of the Rings series in the 90s, like
yeah.
it wouldn't have worked as well. Or even like the movies,
Yep.
like you can just tell because some things just don't land right. That's why
Yeah.
movies were better back in the day because they just funneled all of their budget into like a known thing they were doing. And like series were weaker back then. Whereas like series are kind of like a little stronger these days because I don't know, the time to craft them and they can pump the money into them and make them look good and like take the time to
Yeah.
craft them a little bit better. Whereas like the movies somehow have become like too lazy. I don't know.
Formulaic. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I agree. I agree. And I think today, like if you look at like a lot of movies were made off of books, right? There's been a ton of movies that were originally a book that adapts far better to a TV series than it ever will to a movie because you're trying to fit, whatever 800-page book into a 2 hour, 3 hour movie.
yeah.
You're cutting. That's why everybody says the book's so much better because there's so much more content in there. Where if you take that and spread it over a couple seasons of a show, you can tell the whole story of the book word for word, scene for scene. So I think
In
that's
a
why it's the draw of the characters and building the
yes.
characters, and you just get so much more out of series than movies.
Yeah, and the thing I'm most interested in, and I think it might be like, well, so like Harry Potter, right? So Harry Potter came out in this very like sweet spot for movies, for live action
Yeah.
movies, right?
Yep.
And even the first one, like it holds up just fine. Like it's got that it has a weird layer of nostalgia to it where it's like you can tell where it's older, but like it also just works because it's Harry Potter. Right? So the fact that they are gonna remake Harry Potter, but as a series, I'm glad they're not remaking the Harry Potter movies because honestly, like
Right.
they shouldn't do that within like 50 years. Like I don't, so it's like I want to. I'm very interested in like how the Harry Potter series is going to play out because they're going to be able to. One series are kind of in their prime these days, so like, what if we take something like Harry Potter, make it into a series where like we can pack in all the things where people were like, the books are way better when you watch the movie.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
because we have the illustrated of the Sorcerer's Stone, and we're about over halfway
Those
through it.
books are
Like,
those books are beautiful, dude. I saw those at Books a
yeah,
Million. You're talking about the big
the
illustrated?
big
Yeah.
illustrated ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're about halfway through. We read it from time to time. I'm just enjoying reading it, but like, it's like how much more they pack in to the characters and all the stuff. And you watch the movie, and like, you get why the movie is the way it is, because they got to do it in like less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, all to say, like, I'm very interested in that, because that is like one of the few times we have like a movie set in its prime, and then now we're gonna get a TV series in its prime. It's done by Max, which has probably the better track record for the most part in terms of like making a good series if they really put their
Yeah.
mind to it. So yeah, I hope that pans out.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious about that, because we talked on the show before. I really have no, I didn't watch any of the Harry Potter movies until Hogwarts Legacy came out, and I started playing that game and watching the movies. So I never saw them back in their prime, and they're good movies. It's not to say that they're not, but I am curious to see, because I feel like it also kind of gives Max a chance, which, by the way, they have changed their name back to HBO Max, it seems, because it says HBO on my app on the PlayStation all of a sudden.
Yes, sir.
So,
that was a whole thing like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they should like figure that crap out, man. I'm sick of that icon changing all the time.
They make fun of themselves on like Twitter and stuff. They're like, we're changing it again, back to our roots.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a weird choice to begin with. HBO is such a distinct name. Why would you take HBO out of Max? Just to distance yourself from the stuff that was on after 11 o'clock on HBO in the 90s, or what? It just seems like a weird choice.
Don't distance yourself from that. That's what makes you you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what makes you you. Absolutely. And I think it gives them a chance now. If you look at Game of Thrones, which was based off of a book series, but the book series was not completed. So it ran into some problems in its later seasons because those books were not completed. Harry Potter is not that way, correct? All those books are completed.
All complete.
And there's no more coming. So they have, how many books are there?
7.
7 books.
There's
so
7
perfect.
books, but the 7th book was split into 2 movies. And so far I'm on 6, rewatching 6. My son can rewatch 1 through 4. Like we've seen those ones quite a bit. The end of 4 is basically where like it gets too old for him, because like Voldemort is born out of like a cauldron. And that's just a little bit too much. And I watched 4, then I watched 5, and I'm like, it's just way too mature, because they're all teenagers and they're in a different like whole zone. And then 6 gets a lot more like political and all that kind of stuff. So 1 through 4 is definitely like great for younger children, but then after that it kind of turns into like a teeny thing.
Gets a little hairy. Yeah
But right now it's like 1, 3, and 6 are like really good in my opinion. I'm really enjoying 6. I haven't seen 6 in the longest time, because we always you always watch like the first ones, and then but like, who has the time to sit around and finish a whole 8 movie series, 8 movie thing. So
yeah, that's funny that you say that, because I believe that I watched like the first 4 or maybe 5. I don't think I saw the last couple. Yeah, I definitely need to get back to it. I want to get back to Hogwarts Legacy specifically, because I feel like that game was I didn't give it its due time. You know what I mean? I was having a blast with it. It just
there's a lot to do.
Fell flat for me because I'm not really drawn to Harry Potter, because I don't have any nostalgia for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of like an all brand new thing coming into it. But yeah, I definitely need to get back to it. But anyway, I think that it gives them the opportunity to do a 7-season series, 1 book per season. And it could be solid. It could be solid. And those kids are going to grow up just like the kids in the movies did throughout the series. They're going to get old. It's going to be perfect. So
yeah,
hopefully, fingers crossed. Sometimes it pans out not that way, but
yeah, but even like Game of Thrones, like those books are so just like undigestible. Like you even have a series and already it's like a movie and you're already cutting corners to make it work, and the books are still so much better. Whereas the Harry Potter books are way more digestible, right? And like even reading the first one, I'm like, this is really very easy read. Like we go through things really quickly. We don't spend a lot of time on stuff. She doesn't even describe stuff in a whole lot of detail. So you don't have like paragraphs upon paragraphs of like descriptions of stuff. Like she's just moving through it, right? And then she fills it in later. So I'm excited also because I feel like they could get like 80% of the book into a season. Like if they do it that way, like that would be, they can do it. It's a very good opportunity.
Yeah.
I
It'll
don't know
be
how we got
exciting.
here.
The only thing that I think that might hold that series back is people's nostalgia for the movie series. You know what I mean? That's going to be hard first, because it's not like, I mean, those movies came out. The first one came out in the 90s, right? So it's not super
2001.
old. 2001. So even it's not like 40 years old they're redoing it. Although I guess it's a hell of a lot older than I'm giving it credit for. 24 years old, right?
From the first movie, but like it frapped in the late almost 2010 is like when the last movie happened, right? So it isn't really that old. But that's the big problem, is like, because you're talking about recasting characters, a bunch of actors, right? You're talking a mix of seasoned actors, right, that were a big deal, and still are, some of them that are still around. But then all the young ones, all but like at least they all became somebody. And like, especially Daniel Radcliffe and is it Emma Stone? No, that's different. That's someone else.
Is it? Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's Emma Watson. That's it.
Yeah. So like,
I mean,
they all went on. Have their cast.
Yeah.
They have most of the castings done. I think it starts production soon. I think Snape was a big deal because it wasn't Adam Driver. Everybody wanted Adam Driver to be
Everybody
Snape.
wanted that, dude. I wanted Adam Driver, and I have no dog in the race. But Adam Driver seemed like the right choice.
Yeah, and I think
Adam Driver
would
be a phenomenal young John Wick. Like he's
that would be
perfect
cool.
for it.
Yeah.
He's perfect for it. Yeah.
Yeah. He was a Marine too, so he's
got
that edge to him. Yeah, and I think that's the problem, is because like for 5 years people knew there was going to be a series or something, like they were going to remake it. So everyone had all of their castings picked out, and now those aren't like obviously panning out. That's people's biggest problem.
Yeah, they never do though. They never do.
No.
Anything you dude, we should do. So we did this. I can't remember what we cast it. We should do this on the podcast sometime. We take a video game and then we cast out actors to play the specific characters. I think the kids and I like did it for something back in the day. It was super fun. You just go through, like, you take Metal Gear Solid. Okay, who's going to play Solid Snake? And we have like that might be good, like a good March Madness sit-in, since we're kind of like out of March Madness stuff to go through. Like, let's all pick a movie and we're all going to sit down and debate the casting of the characters from the video game. But anyway, what are we talking about? Ninja Scroll.
Ninja Scroll. By the way, John Lithgow is Albus Dumbledore.
Who I don't know. I don't know if I know who that is. Let me look.
You would if you saw him in an instant.
What's his name? Last
John
name?
Lithgow. Lithgow.
Oh, yeah. Really interesting choice.
Yep.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, Ninja Scroll.
He's he is he the?
He's in so many things.
He's the grandpa in Interstellar, isn't he?
Yep. Yeah, he's in Interstellar. Pretty sure. He's in so many things.
Yeah, he's definitely.
I believe he's in 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he plays the grandpa in Interstellar. Should have known who that was. I'm not good with some actors' names.
Yeah.
Like I know that. Like I know the face, but I don't know the name. So anyway, we open kind of with a like I think like a pandemic going on in a town with like lady kind of zombies her way into the town and kind of passes out. And that's what kind of sets our story kind of in motion. We meet the Koga ninja and they're all sitting in a room together talking about they need to go to this town and scout it out and see what's going on. And that's where we first meet Kagero. She is the poison taster for the head honcho of the Koga ninja, who's out of town currently, apparently. And she wants to go. And she kind of, it's kind of like a Mulan moment, cuts her hair off, lets it fall down. She's like, I'm going with you guys. You might die. How can I sit here?
So because she's the poison taster, that's what's like wrong with her? Or is there something before that? Like that's part of just like her.
So she is immune to poison. That's why she is the poison taster. So she can taste the poison, tell that it's poison, but it's not going to kill her. So she's immune to poison. But on top of that, that also means that she poisons any guy that tries to have any kind of physical interaction with her, if you will.
Yeah.
So it's I don't
immune
know.
to poison. Like that's not really described, but because that is got it. Yeah.
Yep.
So because she's immune and she tastes so much poison, she's just toxic.
Yep. She funnels that stuff out, and I think it's just it's a cool because normally the female characters are either the helpless woman that needs help from a man or the big powerful warrior that doesn't really make any sense either. This is like a cool take on a female character where she is kind of like a weaker, needs help from a guy, but she doesn't because she has this innate ability to poison anybody that tries to hurt her. I think it's just a cool twist on a female character. But they head out to Shimoda, which is the village that supposedly has this pandemic. And we are all the ninjas, epidemic. All these ninjas are attacked by Tessai, this big giant rock character, I guess is how you want to frame it. He's like the Hulk built out of rocks.
Stone skin.
Yeah. And this is another... I'd be curious to see if this influenced Kill Bill as well, because there's a scene here where like the body falls and the like blood like trickles down on top of it as it's laying there. And I think Kagero's like looking at him. In Kill Bill, the anime scene has a very similar scene where she's under the... Have you ever seen Kill Bill?
Yeah.
So the anime scene is about Oren, one of the assassins that she's going after. And it's like a origin story of hers. And it's literally a full-on anime in the middle of the movie. A little 5-minute anime short inside of Kill Bill. But that one scene where she's under the bed and I think her dad like gets killed and falls down and the blood like trickles down on top of it. It looks like it's straight out of this scene here. So I'm curious to see what his influences are.
So, well, I just asked AI.
Yeah.
All the movies that Ninja Scroll has influenced. So the Matrix franchise, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned that. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust from 2000.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah.
Afro Samurai from 2007.
Makes sense.
Sword of the Strangler 2007.
Stranger or Strangler?
Sword of the Stranger.
Another phenomenal. That's a 2007 you said?
Yep.
Phenomenal anime movie. Great anime movie.
Basilisk from 2005.
Yep.
Batman Ninja from 2018.
Yep.
Highlander, The Search for Vengeance.
Yeah. Like Samurai I said, I think that
Showdown 2.
Yeah, there's probably a lot that this influence in both anime, movie, TV shows, video games, certainly. Yeah. Like I can't get it out of my head that Kojima was certainly watching this movie when he built that first Metal Gear Solid game, because it just has that distinct cast of bad guys. And there might even be there might even be 8 of them in Metal Gear Solid, where it's just they all have different abilities. You fight them as you go. It's very distinct, and it's, you know, Solid Snake meets a female character during all of it. It just feels so distinctly Ninja Scroll. And I'm sure that he's commented on it because he's pretty open about the stuff that has influenced him over the years. But anyway, the entire ninja crew kind of gets taken out. Tessai runs off with Kagero, takes her off into a dark, dilapidated temple, and starts to kind of have his way with her before Jubei shows up. And I love this re-intro of Junbei, where he's just like chilling in the corner, like out of nowhere. He's just there.
Yeah.
And it's funny because that scene there is exactly the scene that happens in Sword of the Stranger that you talked about, where that in that it's a kid that's getting kind of beat up, and this dude's just chilling in the corner and kind of helps him out. So yeah, dude, I never even thought about that. Like, Sword of the Stranger is very distinctly Ninja Scroll now that I think about it. That's a good one. That's a good one. If you want like a good modern day samurai anime movie, it's really good. I think it's on Crunchyroll. I don't know if you have Crunchyroll.
I do. It is, yeah, Crunchyroll.
Yeah, good movie, dude. Anyway,
I definitely like samurai and ninja movies because they're a lot easier to like digest and like get into, versus like a whole series, right? Because this anime series runs so long.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah.
So I like the movie format a lot for this stuff, especially because I'm not overly like obsessed or into it.
Yeah.
But I do like, just like what was it, the Seven Samurai, or it was the black and white movie that we watched.
13 Assassins.
13 Assassins.
Yeah.
Stuff like that I like.
Yeah.
So I also just like that they are self-contained, because I like I like how Ninja Scroll just drops us in the middle of the story. They allude to things that are in the past of these characters being connected, and then they obviously suggest there's like plenty to go forward, but like that doesn't matter. It's just like this
just right here
story.
Yep. And it's good and self-contained. It leaves you guessing, you know, at what happened before and what's going to happen after. And I dig that. To go on not to go to 13 Assassins, but Ghost of Yotai had its deep dive today, 20-minute long deep dive. Again, dude, it will remain the most disappointing video game announcement that I've ever watched in my life. I've never been more disappointed in a game than that first trailer. But the 20-minute deep dive kind of got me a little excited because it looks pretty sick, dude. It just, you know, the addition of all the different weapons, all the stuff they got going on. You should go watch it. It looks really freaking good. But one of those things was they did the Kurosawa mode in Ghost of Tsushima, the black and white with the kind of muffled audio. They're bringing that back, and they're doing 2 more directors. They're going to do Takashi Miike, who did 13 Assassins, where the camera's panned in and some audio stuff has changed. And then Samurai Champloo, the director of that. So you can get like lo-fi beats that you can put on, and they played it. So have you ever watched Samurai Champloo? It's like it's a samurai anime, but it's like got a hip hop soundtrack.
That's cool.
So super cool vibes. Yeah, I was like, it was just such a curveball. They're like, you know, everything's like feudal Japan. They're like, oh, by the way, you can put lo-fi,
so they'll have
hip hop music on in the background. 3 different ones.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Super sweet. I still, you know, it was really irritating me because they were like talking about how they tried to make this game feel like every samurai movie that you've ever watched in your life and all the old samurai movies. And I was like, I've never watched one that has a female lead, but you know what? Hey, whatever. I don't know which ones you were watching, but I didn't see that anywhere. But yeah, dude, it looks good. But I just had to bring that up because you brought up 13 Assassins. So Jubei kind of saves Kagero here, and they run off together. And we get Tessai eventually catches back up with him, kind of punches him through a freaking stone wall or whatever, and they start fighting. And this fight scene's kind of cool. And I love Jubei's attacks, the like shooting the stuff. That's straight out of Zelda, like shooting the blade out. Like that's a move in Zelda that you can do. So I love watching that. But eventually, as Tessai's kind of just walloping on him, he starts to kind of crumble, like Nick said earlier. And it turns out that Kagero poisoned him during their little interaction in the hut, and he dies. And I think that's super interesting because it's important for Kagero's character to see like, oh crap, like she just killed this dude without even being there, you know what I mean, by poisoning him. But kind of saves Jubei in the same way. So they're kind of like locked in this journey together. And Kagero says multiple times, like, I owe you my life. You saved my life, yada, 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 throughout the entire movie. But we soon after meet Daquan, who is the monk, the little short, midget monk. And he's a great character, dude. I love him. I think he sneaks up on Jubei while he's like in the hot springs and kind of like blackmails him into working for him by poisoning him and saying like, hey, I've got your cure, but you're gonna have to work for me. And he kind of lays out this scheme with the Shogun of the Dark, who's kind of stockpiling gold, and mentions Genma. And Jubei has a reaction to that because he's killed Genma in the past, cut his head off. And he's like, don't understand how he could possibly be alive. So that sets out, and I love that. I do wish that we got more background, but we just know that they have some sort of history. You know what I mean? Right. You just, there's some sort of dark history there. They hate each other.
It reminds me of like the Beast Titan from Titan. Like the way
he reminds me of Jay Leno with his Jay Leno chin that he's got going on. Yeah. Yeah, he's a cool character. We don't really see him, I don't think, in full until towards the end, right?
Yeah, not till
Do we get it? We might get a little snippet. Yeah. I think we see him talk. Actually, that might be who the dude was talking with the wire.
Yes.
Right? Wasn't he? Yeah.
Slowly reveal as if we know who he is, so they're like hiding him, but we don't. So I don't know. It's just a cool effect to like they slowly reveal him like each time he comes up a little bit more of him until right before like the final encounter in the village when they're loading up the boat. In that before scene, you see like it pan over his whole face and you see him talking before he actually shows up physically on location. So they slowly reveal him.
Yeah. So we kind of go, we talked about a little bit of most of the story here when we were going through the characters. He faces off against a bunch of our main bad guys here. Again, my favorite is the blind dude. I think just visually that fight is awesome.
So
my least favorite.
They are the demons though, right? Like they are the named like 7 demons that
it's the 8. So there's 8 of them. 8 devils of Kimon is what their little title is.
So at the
end,
then
they work kind of under Genma, who kind of works under the Shogun of the Dark, who is like this mystery figure that we see later.
But so Gemma, like he references like all like later at the end, like all the gold is going to go to like, the 8 like his group, the demons, as if they're not all dead. Like, are they not all actually dead when Jubei kills them?
Yeah. So I think that you see that you have kind of, I think it's like a pyramid kind of. You got Genma at the top, who really, it's supposed to be the Shogun of the Dark, but we see at the end of the movie that Genma was setting all this stuff up to take over that position. And then you had like the 8 devils of Kimon, and then you had the like brown clad ninjas that we see at the end, like your classic mask jumping rooftop to rooftop at the end there. So I think he's got like an army behind him, but his whole goal with that gold is he's stockpiling this gold to be able to purchase, I think it's like Spanish weapon, like guns. And he's like, as soon as we get the guns, like it's over. Which is maybe true.
The Dark Shogun wants to do that. Gamma instead just wants to build an army to take over all of. He just basically wants to fund his current operation to control everything from the shadows. So a little different. He's not really in it for like to be like the dude that literally sits on the throne. He just wants to control everything by having enough power in the shadows to do it. Where the Dark Shogun literally wants to become shogun and restore the shogunate of that clan.
That was taken over by the Tokugawa.
The Spanish weapons.
Yeah. Which, if you think about it, dude, and I think when you think about like feudal Japan, you think swords, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But then, around this time, guns were becoming a big thing, especially in the 1600s. They were coming into Japan, but they weren't like, it was like one shot and then it was like 3 minutes until you could get another shot off. So you were still much quicker with a sword. If you could somehow dodge that first shot, the dude that shot at you is probably not going to have a good time because you're just going to rush him as he's trying to frantically reload his little candlestick, whatever they call those things, wick guns, where you have to,
Yeah.
So when you
think in your is where it didn't work 1-on-1, but it worked where like 10 dudes can take down like 2 dudes because they just have swords. So like between 10 of them, someone's going to hit you with like a slug, and it's not going to feel great. Yeah, but like the Shogun series on FX, they did a good job, I think, of like showing like there's cannons and guns and like they would be super useful, but like used by the wrong people who don't know how to like fire these things, like ballistics and all that stuff, like they suck. That was the point of having the white dude from Europe be like, oh, this is how you shoot a cannon, and like nail them every time. So like there's a whole entire like skill to using them that makes them better. You can't just buy 1,000 guns, give them to 1,000 Japanese and be like, we win.
Expect them to know how to fire them. Yeah. It's just, it doesn't, when you think in your head, like, okay, close my eyes, feudal Japan, they have shurikens and kusarigamas and swords, and now we're going to enter a gun. You're like, oh, dude, you're going to swamp them with the guns. But it's like, not so much, man. Like those, it's not an M16, you got to reload it after every shot. It takes quite some time. Not even a pump action. Yeah. No.
takes like 2 minutes to reload. Gotta put the powder in there. Gotta drop the bullet down there. Gotta tamp it with the thing. Maybe not musket, but it depends.
Yeah. No, I think you did. No, yeah, I think you.
Or even before that, like the classic pirate like pistol where you have to light the fuse and then it goes and then it fires, right?
Yeah.
Like the real.
That's what that. I mean,
ones.
that's what those. Yeah, that's what these were. They were the rifle version of that. So, yeah, it's not the. And you see that even if you go watch like Age of Samurai, where they got these rifles, but the guys that got them eventually got beat. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the atomic bomb of feudal Japan, you know what I mean? Where you could just win every battle. So I just love that era of Japan because there's so much stuff going on. You got guns coming in, you have foreigners coming in finally after, thousands of years of being shut off. So it's so alluring that time in Japan. But the other guy that we did not talk about is my least favorite bad guy, personally. The fight's kind of cool, I guess. I just don't like the design, and that's Moshizo, I think is how you say his name. He's the hunchback hornet guy.
Yeah.
I liked the fight scene. I think the fight scene's sweet where Kagero's kind of, how do I want to say, distracting the hornets as Jubei goes off to try and find this guy. Yeah, sedating him. And I don't know. He's my least favorite probably out of all of them.
Yeah, he's not cool, but like that sequence is a cool concept.
The sequence is
he's like
really
chasing
cool.
him down to kill him, so all the hornets like stop.
Yeah,
it's a cool concept, but like as a fight and as like a bad guy, he's kind of that like that curveball mid-tier boss fight where, you know, the first
Yep.
one's like brutish and it's a very straightforward fight. Then you get like some of the trickier ones, and then you have this like oddball. You know, you always have that oddball somewhere in the middle or right before the last, where it's like we're going to completely throw you off in terms of how you're going to approach this.
Yep.
Maybe that's a
Yeah.
video game inspiration that they took there, right, or vice versa.
Yeah. I mean even that Hornet character is literally, and they're remaking Metal Gear Solid 3. It's coming out in August. That's a character right out of Metal Gear Solid 3. There's a character that commands a group of Hornets that you have to fight. So, yeah, I just have, it's like this weird chicken or the egg thing in my head that I just can't get out. Like, what influenced what? Did video games influence this? Did this influence video games? Is there a mix of both? Because even like Deathloop, which came out a couple years ago, is about being on an island and trying to kill 8 people before the clock runs out. You know, so it's just like, even today, like the number specifically 8, like that's, you know, the influences are so strong throughout. But anyway, yeah, I mean, we kind of breezed over all the other bad guy fights. We can kind of get towards the end here where we head to the town and with the plan of getting on the ship. And this ship is carrying all the gold that the Shogun of the Dark has kind of stockpiled from all these different mines. And this is where he lays out his plans for, like we said, the Spanish weapons. And Genma is pretty much like, I just want to like make a group of ninjas and just terrorize Japan. Like that's my end game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is hilarious. But I love the whole sequence at the end here. This fight, first off, Genma's sweet looking because he's got that like robotic arm. He's got the scar on his neck from when Jubei cut his head off.
Yep. His arm's actually like here, covered. The underside looks like arm, and then it's just like covered in like the metal. At first I was like, that's where I was like, sci-fi, like is this the legit like mechanical arm? I was like, no, I see his real arm down there.
Yeah, and I think that this whole, and I hate to keep bringing it up. You played Uncharted 4, right?
Yeah.
The end fight of Uncharted 4 is this exact in a burning ship full of gold, fighting with swords. Fun. I mean, yeah, so it's absolutely, and I think go ahead.
And the way like Genma goes out, I was like, is that like a Smaug reference? Because like that's what happens to Smaug in in the Hobbit, right? He gets covered in gold. Obviously, Smaug gets out, but like I was like, dude, this is so cool because it's like exactly what the dwarves did to Smaug in the mountain.
Yeah. It's such a cool way to kind of take the bad guy out, where he's, because he does have the upper hand at that moment. So it's a cool way to take him out. It's a cool way to make sure that, because he is immortal, and that's what we learn. We learn through the story that he's immortal. That's how he was able to come back. And
I was thinking about that. I was like,
that's a good way to sink him down to the ocean.
Yeah, but he's probably
alive,
still alive down there. So like, if anyone ever goes and like digs that treasure up, they're gonna pull him up and like re-unleash him. Like I was like, he's not dead. He's just encased in gold.
Dude, they should make like a modern day Ninja Scroll sequel where like treasure hunters are like, we found this giant piece of gold in the bottom of the ocean, and they dig it up and he comes up with it. You should go. You can go and watch the trailer, the fully animated trailer that they made for the second movie, which I've never seen before. It looks like it's a trailer off of a movie that they made, but I don't think they ever made the movie. It certainly never released, but it looks like they just made a trailer. There's no talking or anything. It's just characters, a couple bad guys, one on like a motorcycle, which is random. But yeah, it's cool to go back and see what could have been if somebody would have picked it up. But yeah, I don't know, man. This is I just have a deep emotional tie to this game or this movie movie. I probably watch this movie at least once a month. Like it just You know, I'm
Seriously?
like,
Like
I
every
want to watch
month?
Ninja Scroll. Yeah, I want to watch Ninja Scroll. Like just
That's
laying in
awesome.
bed, slap it on. You know, it's just a peaceful, the music, just everything about it. It's just, I don't know. It's like a nighttime story for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having trouble
It's a
sleeping. I
bedtime
put
story.
Ninja Scroll on. Yeah, it's a good little bedtime story.
The VHS version?
Not the VHS version. I now have it was for the longest time the very crappy English dub version on like Internet Archives or wherever I found it on the internet. But now I have like the 4K re-release that they released a couple years ago or last year. But I remember like being so excited seeing that on there because I would always search for it. And it was never on any streaming, nothing. You couldn't find it anywhere. You couldn't buy it anywhere, nothing digitally. And then they released it and it was like day one purchase. Like I'm buying this in case they take it away,
Sure.
you know, like I'm not doing this again. I can't watch the crappy version or the really high quality version with the German dubs. Yeah.
Need 2 copies.
Yeah. Just in case. Yeah. I don't know. I would like to go. I just need to power through and watch the series. It's just if you like put the first episode on for like 3 minutes, you'll see the quality is just not there. You know what I mean? It's got that more modern, I don't want to say modern because it was like early 2000s it came out, but it's like a more modern animation level to it. And it just doesn't look good, I don't think.
What does multi-format mean?
In the other thing is a lot of people are really turned off by like 90s English dubs, which this movie is a through and through 90s over the top English dub. And I don't even think I have to look on my Ninja Scroll. I don't even think that it comes in subtitled. Like it's just straight dubbed, which is so bizarre to nowadays where everybody wants to watch the subtitled stuff, you know?
Yeah.
I don't even think that's an option on this movie.
So
you're stuck with that 90s.
$12 on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's got some goofy options around it though. It's hard to trust.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's weird because like if you just click it, it says Blu-ray, Ninja Scroll, $12. But below, you know where they have the different options for the different versions. They have the Prime Video for $15. Yeah. The Blu-ray, if you click Blu-ray, there's $183. DVD's $20.
Yeah, that's yep.
Multi-format is $100 and a VHS is $13.
Yeah, the Blu-ray is like the highly sought after random Blu-ray release they did of it.
2012, $183. Then there's a Blu-ray limited edition from 2024. That's $400.
Yeah. $400. Good Lord.
Yeah, it has a bunch.
Yeah, I just bought the straight digital version of it on Apple TV. It was like $15.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's wild.
But yeah, I'm glad that you like it. You said it was wild. I was like, oh boy. Like wild. That's everybody's reaction. Anytime I bring this movie,
my wife was on the couch on her phone for the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, bad.
She should give you a warning. She never once looked at it because she just does not comprehend it. She's just like on her phone. She's like, why are these always so violent? I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, she's like, they're always yelling too. And she just thinks like that is kind of always the tone. Is they're either whispering or they're yelling, right? And I'm like, I think it's just the language partially, but also like they're all very dramatic because that's just like the tone of anime in general is like very dramatic moments. Everything's very intense all the time. Or they're like literally having tea and like just chilling out. Like there's no middle ground. But
it's definitely and even if you go watch like anime in Japanese, they just have more passion behind their voice.
Yes.
Like they're as much as it pains me to watch subtitled stuff, sometimes it's specifically with Demon Slayer, like the subtitle is so much better. The voices are so much better than they are in the dubbed version. But there's just that they got that like deep passion behind their voice when they're talking, you know?
Yeah. I mean, just culturally, like they like, I guess English for most in part is just like it's all just literally definitions of words, and we make words up to encapsulate different emotions and different meanings. So like we have a word for literally everything, right? So like, it's hard to translate to English sometimes into other languages and vice versa, because we probably have like 10 words to describe 10 different versions of something, whereas like in Japanese there might be one word, but there's a lot of inflection on tone that carries a lot more meaning. So like they somehow, like, through their culture, and a lot of other cultures do this too, like they understand the meanings behind emotions versus just like here, like if you're speaking English and you're speaking loud, you're either just being loud or you're like angry, and like it's a negative thing. Where it's like over there, yeah, if you're angry and you're louder, it's not a negative thing. It's just like they understand the emotional range there a little bit better.
Yep.
We don't have that. We
Yep.
just kind of talk flat all the time.
Yeah. So I kind of ran. So I'm getting a tattoo. I haven't said
Well,
this.
first one,
I'm getting a tattoo sleeve. No, I have a bunch, but
oh,
I'm getting a sleeve. And it's all Japanese
Ninja
theme
Scroll.
stuff. I might slap it in there somewhere. But I'm
Just put
getting
the
the just Jubei up here. I'm actually putting Musashi up here, who is an actual samurai, like a traditional drawing of him. But anyway, bunch of other stuff. But I wanted a specific phrase tattooed in Japanese, and the phrase is 3 foot world, and it's basically it's a mountain climbing term where for people that like are freaking out on the side of a mountain, staying in your 3 foot world and just finding your next handhold, not looking down, not looking at all the crap around you. Just and I read that somewhere a couple years ago, and that's like kind of I live my life by that phrase, like 3 foot world. Like if I can't control it, don't worry about it. But so I go to get it translated, right? And I just use Google AI Translate. Gives me a translation, but I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this tattooed on me. I should probably verify it by somebody that speaks Japanese. So I send it to Jake, who was on the podcast. Love Jake to death. Terrible texter. He takes him days, if not weeks, to get back to you. So I ended up going to Reddit and put it on there, and the first thing was like pretty much like, you're a total dumbass. I can tell that you used Google Translate. You have no idea what this says, blah, 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 blah. And so we kind of sorted it out, and he's like asking me, what does it say? And I tell him, not thinking in my mind that they don't use the same measurement system that we do. So 3 foot world means nothing in Japanese. It means 3 literal foot world. So it, you know what I mean? So it doesn't make any sense.
That's hilarious.
So I was like, oh, dang, dude, that sucks. But he ended up translating it.
People have 3 feet.
Yeah. They're like, this makes sense. So I was like, and then Jake finally got back to me, and he's like, it says 3 foot world, but it's super difficult to read the letters or whatever they're called. And I was like, all right. So I got a good translation of it, and I'm just going to stick with it. It's just a me thing, and it's really in Japanese just to fit into the theme of the sleeve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to put like English words on there.
Yeah, I saw some funny posts where they're talking about like Americans or just like Western people like getting like Asian tattoos of like just words. So like it'd be the same thing if like say a Chinese person got just the word water tattooed on them versus like get the symbol for water. It's like, what about water?
What about it? Yeah. So I wanted to stay. I wanted to stay away from any like. So I went back and forth on this a lot because I am planning on going to Japan probably within the next year.
Tight.
And Japan has very, very strict rules against tattoos. Very strict. You can't go to gyms. You can't go to restaurants. You can't. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I think it's loosening a little bit. It's definitely much looser for foreigners. The reason that they're so strict on it is because the mafia there, the Yakuza, are notoriously tatted completely. So it's their way of being like, if you're Yakuza, you can't come into our business, so leave.
Unless
And that's
it's
their
covered,
way to get
right?
around it, unless it's covered. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you'll see like the Yakuza will tattoo literally everything, but they'll leave like a little patch right here so that when they put their kimono on, it covers everything. So I went back and forth on this. Also, I'm not Japanese, so I was like, should I really be getting like a sleeve of Japanese stuff? Like, seems weird, but Japanese tattoos are like a whole subsection of tattoos that and everything that I got has some sort of deep meaning to me. I have tattoos all over my body, my heritage, my kids, my wedding song. So I need to bring out my nerd a little bit. So my next tattoo was going to be something nerdy. And this is just the route that I decided to go. So
just see if there's any Japanese folk out there that have like a Western themed sleeve, you know?
Yeah, I'm sure. Like I'm sure
the
there
American
is.
West, just like I mean, I'm sure that like you know, like a Colt, like any pistols, Cowboys, Indians. I'm sure that it's somewhere out there.
Definitely, yeah. And you know so I'm doing Musashi. I read Musashi's book, The Book of Five Rings. It pretty much changed my life as much as that 3-foot world phrase did. So everything that I have is like meaningful to me. Nice. The only thing that I'm like a little iffy on is I'm doing one of the masks, like the demon masks, and it's going to be on my forearm. And I'm like, oh God, like if I ever want to cover up the demon mask that I have on my forearm, you know what I mean? But it's not
maybe that a little higher,
different kind of demon. Yeah, different kind of demon. So, but that again has deep meaning to it as well. But yeah, the 3-foot world thing just threw me through a loop. I was like, that's hilarious. I didn't even think that they use the metric and we don't. And it's just like, it doesn't make any sense over there. But dude, the first guy on Reddit just ripped me apart.
But yeah, that happens on Reddit. Was he at least helpful at some point?
Yeah, he eventually, it was like the most bizarre conversation I've ever had. Cause he would be like, Reddit. What's it mean? And I'd explain it to him. And I was like, can you translate 3-foot world into Japanese? He's like, I don't understand what you're saying. Cause initially you wanted the way that I did it.
Just get 1 meter world.
Yeah. 1 meter world. That's what I thought about. I thought about doing that. The way that I did it is I posted the translated version of it onto Reddit. Cause I didn't want to be like, can you translate this? And then somebody just use a Google Translate and then give me the same thing. So I was like, I put that translation. So then I asked him later on the post, like, can you translate 3-foot world into Japanese? He's like, I don't get what you're asking. Initially, you wanted the Japanese translated into English. Now you want, I was like, yes, but that's the phrase. It was like the most bizarre conversation I've ever had with somebody. I don't know. There might've been like a little bit of a language barrier going on. But yeah, he eventually gave me the proper translation, which actually has the number 3 in it, which I thought was weird.
Well, it's like probably like the most proper way would be like, well, 3 foot and then the Japanese symbol for world. Like that's what it translates to.
Yeah.
It would you would just use the native foot, like that's what it is. Like that's what they say. They don't have a word for foot because it's a Western thing.
Yeah. It was like I was like, oh dude, I didn't even think about that. Didn't even think about it.
Unless I wonder, like there's probably a Japanese measurement system that isn't meters, that's older than meters, because wherever meters comes from, like they measured things before they knew how to measure in meters.
Right.
Figure that out.
Yeah.
And then get that that math done.
Yeah.
And then use like those old timey measurement words, just like we have like poles and chains and stuff like that.
Right.
They used to like measure stuff just like in Ohio, like that's how things were measured.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we'll see. I go started on the 16th, so 6 days.
Is it coming all the way down to the wrist, or like you get
all the way down? Yeah, whole sleeve. Yep.
Onto the knuckles.
Not down to the knuckles, no, just down to the wrist. So I'm really weird. Like I hate hand tattoos. I hate leg tattoos. I hate neck tattoos, any of that stuff. But I've always wanted a sleeve. But for the longest time, it was like kind of taboo-ish to have tattoo sleeves. But times have certainly changed since then. I feel like a lot of people have sleeves. So
a lot of people have hand and neck and face tattoos too.
Right.
So like that's
right.
all.
Yeah.
That's all kind of brushed to the wayside here in the West.
Yeah. And I was like, I have to do something nerd. Like I have everything else that means something to me on me except for like my nerdy side.
Yeah.
So it was either going to be initially, let me just show you. Initially, I thought about doing this, but I was like, dude, I can't get Matthew McConaughey's face tattooed on my arm.
Oh my God.
But
From
it's
Interstellar?
Yeah, dude, it's sick. It's sick. Let me see if I can find it.
Unbelievable.
So
oh my goodness.
And then it's got the black hole, and the house, and everything.
That's someone's real tattoo.
Yeah.
That's nuts. They have a whole Interstellar arm.
The whole Interstellar arm. I was like, dude, that is sick. Like the black hole is sick, the house, everything. But I was like, can I really get an actor? Like, if I'm gonna get a face tattooed on me, I'd rather it be like a traditional drawing of Musashi, which I think is sweet. So yeah, I'm glad I went the direction I went.
I need 3 hours to watch Interstellar because I want to watch it all in one go. But
oh, dude, I would love. We've never done an Interstellar episode. I'd love to do an Interstellar episode.
Yes,
because that is bar none my favorite movie of all time.
I need to watch it. I wish they'd do a re-release in IMAX. I'd go. Wait, did they?
They did. You missed it. I don't know if there was any. Remember, I went when we went to Disney.
I saw it in IMAX. So.
Oh, did you?
I'm good.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
well, I'm not jealous anymore because I have too. But
okay, good.
Yeah, I didn't see that movie until I watched it like on Netflix or something originally.
Bro,
so
it's insane.
So good in IMAX. Yeah,
it's bizarre. It's crazy.
Yep.
All right, cool. I'm glad I watched Ninja Scroll. It's a good movie. Good one to add to the bank of things I've watched.
Yeah, we'll have to hit up Akira and Ghost in the Shell at some point. Both totally different than this movie. Cyberpunk, futuristic themes.
Sword of the Stranger, honestly.
Sword of the Strangers, yeah, dude. I'd love to do Sword of the Stranger too. It's phenomenal.
Do that next week.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Man.
Fair game.
How long is it? It's not that long, right?
Sword of the Stranger. In the Sengoku period of Japan.
Hour and 43.
Oh, that's kind of long.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's good. That's good length.
Yeah, I'm totally down. You want to do that? I'm totally down. We'll just hijack the summer with anime stuff instead of video game stuff like we normally do.
Yeah, it's way more digestible when you can just watch a less than 2 hour anime and have a direct impact on your life. Be like, wow, I have now seen something that I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I like the shock value stuff just because like you don't find that all the time and like it does its job. Like, sets the tone and makes something like also like unique and stand out.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure like when that movie came, to the West for the first time, like people were probably freaking out about it because it's a cartoon, which at the time was only for kids, and then it's got massive violence, sex scenes, all kinds of stuff in it. People were probably like, what are they doing over in Japan?
Yeah,
man?
When they're getting sliced up in the forest at the beginning, like I'm like, and like the blood's just like pouring. I'm like, oh yeah.
And he pulls that guy's arms and rips him in half. It's like, jeez, dude.
Yeah, and he seemed like kind of an important character, but not apparently because he just gets like shredded. But same thing that like Attack on Titan, like within the first 3 episodes, Attack on Titan. This is an entirely different like tone, speed, and like what we're
that is something I need to get to, dude. I need to just need to sit down and watch it because I tried to watch it with Brady, and I told this on the episode. There's like that episode where the dude kills himself like during their training.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, right, let's just stop right here. Okay.
Well, that's the other thing is like that, like it just like stuff just comes out of nowhere in that show.
Yeah, dude, it came out of nowhere. It's like episode 2.
Yeah, it just turns things on its head constantly, and it's just you just know You have no idea. And then
Yeah.
watch it, I guess, subbed.
Subbed.
Dub is good, but the problem is the first couple 3 seasons, at least 2 seasons when the main character is younger, the dub voice actor for it is just so obnoxious
Yeah, see,
because
that's what I can't, and that's my problem when I said Demon Slayer has better Japanese. Some of the English dub characters there are just so freaking over the top, dude. It's annoying.
yeah, I watched the first couple seasons subbed, and then I went back and because I wanted to rewatch them before it finished, because I was season 4 and I think there's 6 seasons or something.
4
I went back and
seasons, 94 episodes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they split the last 2 in 2 giant parts. But I watched it in Japanese and I was like, "Oh, this is way better." At least the first 2 seasons is just way better because of the main character. It'd be different if a side character was annoying, but the main character
is annoying. That's hard. Yeah.
Such a bad English dub. So
yeah. And my cousin said that I should be good to watch it with Brady. He's like, that's like the only thing that
yeah.
I don't know if that's true,
it
but
doesn't have any that I can remember sex stuff. It's all really just
yeah, and it sucked because he really liked, I mean, he was really into it.
Badass. It's
yeah. Awesome. Yeah, it's really cool. It's funny because you know what, you know how I like to build my little content bubbles. Horizon does not have a content bubble that you can build. You know what I mean? It's just so out there. This is what I picked because it's kind of like they're fighting big giant things with
true. Yeah.
These, so yeah, I need to watch it for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe that can be our next Throwback Thursday series.
That would be good because it would help to have a really driven purpose to watch it.
Yeah.
Because there's so much that goes on. And honestly, it's so not all over the place, but the amount of things that they throw at you that really just refactors what you're thinking about when you're watching it, story wise, that just curveballs, and you're like, well, I don't even remember
yeah
where your head's at until they completely flip the story on your head because they just did a little thing somewhere. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and it also anywhere I go, dude, there's just a mass amount of Attack on Titan swag that you can pick up. Everywhere has Attack on, Walmart has Attack on Titan stuff. So yeah, I just need to hunker down and watch it. But yeah, Sword of the Stranger.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is that what we want to do next week?
Yeah.
I'm down.
Be here or be square.
Nice.
Wait, am I here next week? I'm not even here next week. We might have to record it.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. This was like a random live anyway.
It happens sometimes. It'd be like that. Well, until next time. Fare thee well, ninjas. Play outro.